I don't know about you, but sometimes there are scriptures and times with the Lord that reveal that I still have far to go. So here we go this morning. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7. Very familiar portion of scripture where Paul's talking about the thorn in his flesh. All kinds of debate can go around about what the thorn is. The fact is this: the thorn was miserable for Paul, just like your thorn or thorns are. But what those thorns are, what the source of those thorns are, what we can do to get rid of those thorns really are irrelevant. Paul does the right thing here and goes to God saying, God, get rid of this thing, please. And he says, even though, verse 7, I have received such wonderful revelations from God. Paul's saying, I've got connection with God. I'm getting revelations from God. We're flowing. We're doing good stuff. So to keep me from becoming proud, keep me from becoming self-reliant, I was given a thorn in my flesh. Where's this thorn from? A messenger from Satan. All right, to torment me and keep me from becoming proud. It's from Satan, it torments, and it has a purpose. A purpose that God uses. I don't like this scripture. Let's go a little further. 3 different times, Paul says, I begged God to take it away. And each time God answered. He answered by saying, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. Then Paul continues, so now I'm glad to boast about my weakness. I don't know about you, but when God answers his begging with that answer, and God says, my grace is all you need, my power works best in weakness, God says, so now I am glad. I don't know about you, but I am between God's answer of my grace is sufficient for you and so now I am glad. I don't know where you are in that continuum, but I have begged God for some things. I'm guessing you have as well. God has answered in ways that I didn't necessarily, understatement, absolutely did not want. But the reality is that God says, my grace is all you need. My grace is all you need to sustain you through the torment, through what God has allowed the enemy to have in our lives. God's grace is sufficient to sustain. When we want God's grace and power to deliver, get rid of torment, get rid of Satan, get rid of any of that stuff, God says, I am sufficient to sustain you. So he says, I am glad to boast about my weaknesses so that the power of God can work through me and keep working through me. Final thought is this. Most of us, I'll skip all of us, me, I want God's power to work through me and get rid of torment. Period. Done. Bam. Get rid of it. What God says is, I will continue to work through you to sustain you with all of the yuck around you and all of the yuck in you. God invites us to a sustaining relationship, not a bam, get out of him, enemy, get away from him, torment, get away from them challenges, get away from them struggles. God sustains because he invites us to a connection that will sustain us and keep sustaining us, even with all the junk that God allows to affect our lives. Allow God to sustain you today. His grace is made perfect in our weakness. May we, like Paul, choose to be glad to boast about his strength in our weakness. Have a great day.